Welcome back, T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side. I told you I was bringing them in and sharing some stories. I got my buddy, Captain Mark Feewox, with us today. How you doing, Mark?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I think one of the funniest things, I'm going to start right off with it because I can remember I met, most of the people I talked in one of my earlier segments about tangles, but quite a few of my buddies that weren't around when I grew up came through my business, which I think a lot of business owners, no matter what you're in, you tend to become friends at times with different people that you do business with. And that's what happened with Mark. It took a while, I can tell you that. I met Mark probably my first time almost 30 years ago at the old store. I remember you used to come in.
It had to be late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it was right in there.
Yeah.
We came in here in 96, so I know it was early 90s, and we were at that old store, and I remember seeing you. And to be honest with you, first time I saw Mark, I'm not going to tell you I'm the best judge of character.
Man, Judgy McJudgerton over here.
Okay, I'm in my early 20s, and this guy comes in, looks like Axl Rose, hair halfway down his back, 6'4", 220.
I appreciate that. 6'4". I'll take that, man.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
Okay, well,
That's all right, though.
You look 6'4".
That's with construction boots on, right?
That's what it was. It was them Doc Martens you were wearing.
Shit.
But he came in, and I thought to myself, yeah, probably not somebody I'd probably, I didn't want to get too friendly or nothing, When you're in a retail business, you really meet all types. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of standoffish for the longest time. I just I didn't know if he looked like organized crime or if he looked like, I just didn't know. I was worried about it. And then, of course, my buddy Tangles calls him Charlie's Angels. And I said, we'll let Tangles call him that. I'm not going to. But started fishing with Mark about, 6, 8 years ago?
About eight or something. I think it was,
Seems
man.
like it.
I did the first Venice trip with you in 2013 or 14, something like that.
And a great trip. But I was talking to Mark one day here in the store.
You said, bring me pictures.
That's what
you
it was.
said.
He would
all
tell
these
me
years
about all
of talking.
these fish.
He goes, oh, yeah? Yeah, bring me pictures.
Yeah,
all right.
I said, I want to see something. So he brings them in. And I go, well, he's catching them. And then I found out, I started fishing with Mark, found out some history. Great fisherman. You grew up where?
I grew up in North Florida as a kid. Tallahassee, actually, we'll talk about some of that. The north side of Tallahassee, grew up on a dirt road, lots of hunting, lots of fishing, lots of shenanigans going on up in there.
No supervision.
None at all. I was happy when I turned 15 and could legally hunt by myself. They didn't see me at all on the weekends when school wasn't in. I was gone either hunting or fishing. But, yeah, up there fishing on the coast, Wakulla, Franklin County, some of the best untouched fishing that's still available in the state. You're looking at the least populated county in the state up there, but
one of the
between there and Key West,
we were talking earlier, and this is going to be a shout out to the Audubon Society. Mark's got a story about shooting birds, don't you?
Oh no, man!
You don't want to talk about that?
Well,
we don't have.
All right.
to.
Well, so I'll tell you this. Okay, so
how old are you when this story happens?
12.
All right.
So we grew up. It was a little different time. The beaches up there during the wintertime especially were deserted. We always had guns. We could always take off, don't shoot anybody. But we were, from a young age, that's just it was the culture. It was the lifestyle. We hunted, we fished, we ran around. Anyway, long story short, I didn't get my first 22 till I was 15, I think. But I had a 12 gauge when I was 10. So my buddy has this old single shot 22, one of the ones like a chipmunk special or something. I don't know what it was. It was a single shot where you had to pull the little hammer thing back. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
You load a shell into it through a bolt action, then you had to pull it back. You had like 3 safeties. Anyway, so he came running over one day and said, man, I got this 22, and I was so excited. So we went down to they sold shells at like the Circle K's up there, any gas station, whatever. You could get anything you needed.
Wow.
Your deer shells, your duck shells, your steel shot 22. So we scratched around and got a bunch of 22 shells. Well, we were kids, right? So it was the wintertime. There was no one there. And we figured, well, we'll go shooting a little bit. Long story short, we ended up shooting a big pile of sandpipers, all right? So not proud of it. We were stupid kids, and so about halfway through the day, we had been stacking them up out in front of their house on the beach. By the way, yeah, we were walking right down the beach. There was no one up there.
Man, you talk about nice and fun.
Yeah.
Imagine. I mean, I'm not saying to go do it, but to walk
No,
down
not
the
at all.
beach and whack sandpipers that run.
Well, it
from
was the
you.
best thing. The way we figured it, they
Glad
looked.
I wasn't living up there.
Well, I've said a lot of times to Jess, my wife, that it's a real good thing me and Mahoney didn't know each other as kids.
It would have been deadly.
Yeah, it would have been deadly because I was always right there on the,
Just needing somebody to suggest
jumping
something,
fences
right?
to catch bass and stuff like that. But knowing the way Mahoney's personality is, he would have pushed it that one little bit too far every time. So probably good we met when we were somewhat more
That's
subdued in the older. But so yeah, we're walking along busting sandpipers. Not the best thing to do. We had a big pile. Well, someone called my dad, I believe, was the first one who got wind of it, and he came down, drove up and down the beach yelling, looking for us. We were at Alligator Point, it's a little spit of land in Franklin County, south of Tallahassee, right on the coast. You can't really hide there. You could go to one side of the road, you'd be out there in the Gulf, or on the other side of the road, you'd be in Alligator Harbor, which is like a little bay back in there. So he could ride down the road honking and yelling, and knew that we would hear him. Whether we responded or not, we'd still get our ass chewed out if we didn't come running out and meet him on the road somewhere. Anyway, so he came and found us and drug us down the beach. He's like, "Where'd you put him?" And we're like, "Where'd we put what?" And he goes, "All them birds you've been shooting." So he made us walk him down to the beach, found our nest of sandpipers, had me pluck every last single one of them, took them home, had my mom fry them, and then proceeded to make me eat them.
How'd they taste?
Terrible.
Bad, huh?
I'm talking like, if you could imagine a piece of real tough turkey with a little menhaden oil on it.
Probably like a pelican taste. Tastes like a pelican?
It could be.
Yeah.
I try to avoid pelicans if I can. But yeah, so I grew up.
Never shot any more of them, did you?
No, I didn't. And
Good lesson.
that definitely
Good
instilled
lesson.
that never kill it unless you're going to eat it.
That's
And
right.
so that's the kind of household I grew up in, was you hunt, you kill, you fish, you kill, you do all you want. Never take more than you need, and don't ever kill something you're not going to eat. And so lesson learned, and also that your old man can find you anywhere you're at. That
That's
was
right.
the other one.
That's a good lesson. But I got a question, being that that's the lesson you learned. Up in Georgia this year, I got people spying on everybody, right? Because I'm not able to be up there at the time, but somehow making a mess. Weasels is way up there, and there's all kinds of shooting going on. What happened in that back stand this year? Did you miss one?
I didn't pull the trigger.
I thought you missed one. The
No.
one that crossed the lane.
I let him walk.
Forgot you told me about
I should
that.
have shot him 6 times.
It was Matt. There was a bunch of shooting.
Someone
wasn't there?
else was shooting. It wasn't me. I didn't pull the trigger. I had the crosshairs on him and watched him forever. And I had that little one in front of me walking up the road. But no, I didn't pull the trigger last year.
I got you. Well, hopefully this year.
So
we'll
you
get
can
it
blame
right.
that. Matt was probably doing the
Oh,
old flim flam, reverse the heat.
Matt's big flim.
Because he knows next year he's going to find a deer out there with 1 foot. Mahoney's going to see him.
Oh, and
He's going to go, oh, yeah, that's that one Mark was unloading on.
yeah, he'll
Huh?
end up getting a different name.
I see how
there.
you are, Matt.
How'd we get a making a mess mark?
I
How'd
have
you
no
get that
idea, man.
name?
That just doesn't fit me at all. I don't know what you
I
could
said it-
possibly be talking about.
Well, let me tell you about. I'm not saying that like we talked in a couple weeks ago with Tangles about getting his name, or Tulu Ed about getting his name, making a mess mark. I'm just going to
ridiculous.
use last week. All right, I'm just going to use last week's trip. Big 44-ounce guzzler, cherry diet Mountain
Not
Dew,
cherry,
or
nothing.
whatever. it
Regular
was.
old Diet Coke.
Diet Coke's what
Right.
it was. Okay.
People
Sit-
know you're lying.
Sitting on top of the live well, or whatever. It was the back of the leaning post, maybe.
Yeah, it was like a little washdown rigging station somewhat.
Yeah, and it
Area.
I don't even think we left the dock
Nope,
yet.
we were at O'Neill's waiting
Smacks
to
it
pull out.
off, hits the ground, cup disintegrates, and Coke all over
It's
the deck.
a true story, I'm sad to say.
5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and he
Yep.
wonders why we call him making a mess Mark. But in his boat, he don't make a mess. But that's the name he's gotten because
It is.
he
It's
catches
stuck.
fish. You know, one of the funny stories I remember is Mark loves eating fish. And I promise you, anything that Mark takes that I've seen out of the ocean, if somebody doesn't want some of it, he's eating it. So he's not going to keep a fish that we're not going to keep him fillet. We'll let him go. So Mark, like, what are them little snapper that you like?
Champagne porgies.
No, the
Was that
one I
what
butterflied that time.
Oh, that was a. You want me to tell him what that was?
No, that was a bait.
Okay, that bait,
Let's
you-
just use
it was
it
a-
this way. There's a fish that Mark likes to eat
That Mahoney. Yeah.
that I could care less about eating because they're so small. And then you got bones all in them. It's a nightmare to even eat one. So Mark likes to keep them, which I don't have a problem with. But where he keeps them before he puts them in the cooler is on the deck of the boat in the back and just flipping around and laying
the
on
bite
them.
was hot. I got in a hurry.
He's not going to walk to the front. Well,
taking care of all the mess around there.
most of the time, Mark's on it. We catch a big group or tuna. He's getting bled. Let's get pictures. Get him in ice on top. You don't just leave him on the deck.
Sure.
But
Most
if it's
of the
these
time,
little
yeah.
bait fish that he likes to keep. So he throws one down there, and then I think he caught a good fish, which he went to the box with. Well, as soon as he got up front to the box, I go to the back and grab that little bait that he likes to eat, and I cut the backbone out of it. You know, butterfly it, hook it, drop it down. All of a sudden, I see him milling around, looking, and moving buckets, and I'm down on the bottom. All of a sudden, boom. I mean, it was instant.
It was.
And it was a big red grouper. I had him on the line.
Yeah,
Just-
it was a legit truck.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was big, and I'm reeling him up. Mark's like, "Hey, where's that fish at that was in the back?" I said, "He's in the gut of this red grouper."
True
And
story.
boy, Mark looked, and when he saw that thing butterflied, he was like, "I can't believe you did that." I said, "Look at the grouper."
I was like, it was a good trade. It was
"We traded out.
Yeah.
I'll drop him back
we
down
upgraded.
again."
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm all about the upgrade for sure.
But, you know, one good thing about Mark, and I've said this about all my buddies that I've had on this show, is there is no, I got to go in. You know, Mark has become, how long you been a captain as far as charter?
Full time, man. I
3
I try to
years?
look. No, it's been more than that. But I was running
Wow.
the Mako before that.
Okay, so maybe 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, something like that.
He's been, and I fished with him quite a bit, I'd say, over the last 4 or 5 years. Now, Mark and Fish charters, right?
Yeah, Mark and Fish.
Facebook, all that stuff. You can look him up. Mark catches a lot of fish. He's one of my good buddies. I really enjoy fishing with him. Being a guide now, we don't get to fish as
No,
much.
it really cut into my fun fishing time.
But we still get a little
Yep.
bit. He blows a lower unit. First thing we do is go fishing on
Yeah,
somebody
exactly
else's boat.
it. That's it.
And
Let's
that's
fish.
somebody who loves to fish. On their day off, Mark's ready to go. He's always there, ready to help out. Great guy to fish with. Glad I finally started fishing with him. Put
Yeah,
my
man.
guard down. I was worried about it. I was profiling
We've killed
him.
a lot of fish in the last.
Yeah. What's one of your
7,
most
8 years.
remember?
Man, we
trips?
had some good ones here. We had some good ones. Louisiana, we had some
Gotta
really.
be the best.
I mean, we went there and just. I remember this about Louisiana. I remember, of course, everyone. If you hadn't been there, you're always seeing the pictures, reading the articles, seeing the stories, TV shows, whatnot, about the fishing in Louisiana. And so I went up there expecting, some good fishing, but it actually exceeded what I thought it was going to be on our first sea. I haven't been in a while. I know every place goes in cycles, but it was probably some of the best fishing in the world.
We hit it
in
right.
the world.
We
I
hit
mean,
it
we
right.
went there. We caught so many fish. We were literally releasing big cobia. I think we ended up keeping 3 cobia on a 6-day trip. I bet you we released 7 or 8 more cobia
Nice
to 60
ones, too.
pounds
Yeah.
because we didn't have the room in our 250s to fit the cobia meat with all the tuna
That's
meat
right.
that we were bringing back.
Yeah, we had a choice.
And we had
tuna
a
or
production.
cobia.
Yeah, we had a production. We'd butcher the tuna, we'd get back in, we'd cut the fish, stake them out, then we'd literally get them all packaged up neatly, ready for freezing or transport, everything, and pack them in a separate cooler. So we were literally down there grocery getting.
Yeah.
And
Mark's been with me several
we
times
ate every
there,
piece of that fish.
Where
What we didn't eat from that trip at our houses, I believe we brought it here for one of your anniversary
Customer
get-togethers. Yeah, we
Appreciation
brought
Day.
all that
Yeah.
cobia mangrove snapper fishing was just outstanding up there.
Yeah, we had a great time. I know.
You spot jumped me that one time on the big fish.
Yeah, that's.
Remember that?
Took 'em to
sliding
school.
right into my little corner of the boat.
You know, you take these people and you tell
You
them how
think
to
you know
catch
somebody.
it, and they think they know what they're doing, and I just couldn't wait. As soon as he broke off, I took him to school. And you know what?
You did though.
We
You
probably
stopped
gotta-
him.
We
or
probably
his
got a
buddy.
break coming up sometime soon here. So what we're going to do is there's a couple different things I want to talk about. One, I have to kind of get your permission on because I don't want to embarrass you, but the broken pee-pee in Louisiana.
Oh yeah,
Maybe we can talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
that a little
well,
bit. when we
the
come
cat's
back.
out of the bag with that crap. So yeah, we'll let them know.
We'll talk about that on the way back. That's going to show you how tough this guy is, and we'll talk about a few more trips.
I might have a few things to add to this as
Oh
well.
boy! Remember, we got a button here. We can shut that mic
Oh, that's
off.
right.
We
This
need
isn't
to.
live, huh? Well,
That's it.
just so you know, if y'all miss what got edited out coming up, just holler at me online. I'll tell you the real
He's
deal.
got videos.
Don't worry.
He's got it all. He's
Yeah.
got it all. We'll
I
be
don't want
back.
to tarnish your squeaky clean reputation.
Yeah, I know it. Oh yeah, big squeaky.
Yep.
All right, Mark. Well, we'll let's
Yeah.
take a break, and we'll be back shortly. We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Dark Side. Captain Mark Feewox today. You got what's your website?
It's markandfish.com.
Markandfish.com. Making
That's
a mess,
it.
Mark.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook,
yeah,
all that stuff.
those got all my current stuff. I'm in the process of having someone new take care of some of my website stuff and get it brought up to speed to
Kind of
lock
hard.
it all in. Yeah.
It's hard being old, isn't it?
Well, it's hard
Trying
to
to
fish.
get with all this tech stuff.
Yeah, well, you got to go out there and catch fish first thing, and when you're 16 hours a day doing that, it's tough to do anything but throw a post out on Instagram and get on with the next trip.
You know, I want to talk about this. We talked about it before the break, and I don't want to be all day on it, but one thing that sticks out in my mind about Mark, when you think about catching fish, somebody that can put fish in the boat and just fight fish after fish after fish, and you think, man, that guy's tough. But we were in Louisiana. What was it, 8 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was like 2000, maybe 6 or 7, something like that. It was.
We'll
get it dialed in. I think it was.
It was a while
14,
ago. And it was
13,
how big a
2000?
tuna was it? 115, wasn't it?
No, not
Wasn't
the
that
one that
big
got.
one?
You talking about what I think you're talking
Yeah.
about? No, he was about 70 or 80 because I
70 or
got
80?
him over the rail pretty easy.
I remember when he came in, Mark said, hey, I want to get a picture of him. Well, the back's all shaded, so I said, let's go up front and get a good picture up in the front. He grabs him by the tail, and you kind of leave his head down. Well, that thing still had a little bit of fire in it. And if anybody's ever looked at a tuna tail, they have a ridge on it. And that fish smacked Mark, I guess we could use the word, in the pee-pee. Okay?
How about where the sun don't shine? How
Yeah,
about
Mark
yeah?
didn't blink. Mark got his picture taken. Mark fished 3 more days in Louisiana. Never said nothing to nobody.
I did take a few minutes by myself up on the bow though.
Without us
If you remember, I
knowing.
gaffed him, lifted him over. You were getting ready for pictures, and it was like
Oh, I heard
it sounded like a
I heard it.
broomstick getting slammed against a beanbag chair.
It's like when a
That's what the noise was.
when a baseball player hits a home run.
My
you
boy
can-
Tracy, that
You can
that
hear
noise
it
haunts
when it
him. He's like,
leaves him.
oh,
Well,
Yeah,
it was. What
it
was it?
was-
About 3 months later, we were fishing somewhere.
it was a good long
And
time
Mark
later.
tells us a story that it wasn't good. He had to go to the
It wasn't good.
hospital,
Yeah,
and
I did.
there was some issues. They got him worked out or whatever.
It did. It
holy
did. So
cow.
that tuna cracked it real hard.
And
I
we were
mean, like,
thinking, how could
bad.
you not say nothing?
Well, how could I? Okay,
a
so
room
let me
with
tell you
Mahoney
this.
and
You
his
got
buddies,
Mahoney,
right?
you got Matt Clapp, you got Trace, you got all these dudes. If you give them this much, you're done. You're done.
Any weakness whatsoever. It's
No,
like
I walked up on the
vultures.
bow, caught my breath, did a little check, make sure everything was still friggin' attached, and went back to fishing.
Story I'll never forget. I've
And
told it more than once. Be
it's
careful
true.
holding a tuna.
Yeah, and the thing is we were due to get back. That right after we got back, I had a date with the woman who at the time,
You're married.
I'm married to her now, but yeah. So we're rolling back into town like, oh, man, I got to go meet. It was her cousin, Brad Taylor's an MMA fighter, and we were meeting up to go watch this fight and hang out. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm just going to shoot you straight. I was like, well, God dang it, what if this date goes really well, man? What the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I didn't have to worry about it. Just so you know, since you're all interested, yeah, didn't have to worry about that, and everything's healed up and
still
back
fishing.
in the game, baby.
I don't
Yeah.
even know if it did. As far as I'm concerned, we never knew it. It was 3 months later when everybody found out, and he just kind of said it, and we were like, whoa, wait.
Yeah, hold on.
What'd you just say? I mean, it was it's something, you're out there, it can happen. Anything can happen out there. Be careful. We were
Yeah,
on
man, those tuna, man, we'll watch them.
we were on a boat with a guy this year in Louisiana, Elliot, and a wahoo came in the boat and just raked down his leg.
Man.
And you can't believe how much damage was done.
I believe it.
hospital.
I've got hit by the side of a kingfish head. Just smacked me like that. Opened my foot wide open.
Yeah, it's tough, man. But I've enjoyed fishing. What else are we going to talk about, Mark?
Well,
you sound like you had some ammo over there.
You
Let's
know what?
hear some
I might
ammo.
have gotten distracted. I was trying. Oh, well,
I
you know what? Here's the thing. Mahoney has somehow managed. He's got his nickname, and this all just came to me about 10 seconds ago, so bear with me while I get my thoughts straightened out. So you've managed to come together with a nickname for everyone else in the...
No, they give them to themselves.
Yeah,
That's all
I
can tell you.
I get it. But so I'm thinking maybe we do a little promotion for Mahoney's nickname.
What would it be? Best fisherman?
No.
Catch
No,
the
no,
biggest
no,
fish
no.
guy?
No,
I mean,
I'll talk to
I
your
will-
boys Crofton and all those guys, and we'll see what we can come
I'm
up
telling
with
you,
that sticks.
it's going to be tough because, and I'm not trying
I don't know,
to,
man. You
I'm
dangle
just
some
telling
money
you,
out there. I'm talking, yeah.
I'm pretty close to perfect. I mean, I'm just telling you that. I know that sounds terrible
No,
and
there's-
sickening, but when it comes to being on a boat, I got too many hours. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I screw up all the time.
Man, you can keep
People
talking,
don't
bro.
notice. You may notice, but everybody doesn't notice when I mess up on a boat. But I can tell you, I'm no different than anybody else. I jerk with a circle hook
No.
on. I've reeled against
Let me
the
just tell you
drag.
something about Mahoney. Here's what if he's okay. All right, fished with you countless times now and watch. You're one of my favorite people to fish with. You know where to be on a boat. You know where not to be. You know all those things, right? But so when Mahoney's, say we're grouper digging, which is
90%
for a while,
of the
yeah.
time.
We started trolling some more now that I've upgraded to a bigger boat. We can run those 100-mile runs. But with grouper fishing, if Mahoney's got a fish on him, say he got whacked by something good, he won't really tell you about it. He'll kind of, reel up, walk over to the back, dig around in the bait well, try to find that other big line. But he won't really talk too much about it. He's real subdued about it. And I think this is one of the reasons he fights a fish. Of course, if you're a bottom fisherman, you keep the rod down, you just crank. So you got all your boys that get hit and then make a big commotion. There he is, there, fish on. Not Mahoney. You look back and basically all you see is his shoulders kind of drop a
sleeper.
little bit.
The
And then
sleeper.
this. And all you see is because years of perfecting not wasted motions, you're barely moving at all. And you're like, oh shit, what's Mahoney got on there? And so yeah, man, you've got it down to where sneaky.
Well, yeah.
Sneaky. He'll steal your fish,
I'm
drop it
with
down
that.
because he knows he just missed a big one. He won't say a damn thing to anyone else. Not, man, throw another live bait down there. I just got whacked. He won't tell you. He'll just
don't
be
ask
real
me.
quiet about it.
Don't ask me what I used because you're never going to get
No.
the answer. If
No.
I tell you dead bait, you better go grab a live one.
Oh, half a sardine. That's
And
my
I'll
answer
tell 'em-
every time.
All my buddies, they're digging in the well, and I always tell them, hey, I'd get the smallest one. They're
Yep.
hitting the small ones. Well, Matt and Tangles and Tulu Red grab the small one. That leaves me the big one. I guess
Yeah.
I got to use him.
Right.
And then what's the funniest thing is looking at that guy right afterwards is I got to have two hands on the bait I'm putting on and ask somebody else to hook it.
Right.
I don't know how many times they've looked at me and said,
Yeah.
I thought you said a small one. I look
Yeah.
at them and go, that ain't a small one. I'm trying to get a
No,
big
man,
one, but that
people would be
looks like...
surprised the size of baits that fish actually want to eat.
I mean, that's it's what I did in Louisiana. We were talking earlier, and Mark was one of the guys that hadn't been there before until I invited him. He'd heard about it, seen the pictures. All my buddies had been there. Mark was kind of at the time one of the newer guys we were hanging
hadn't
out
made
with.
that trip.
He ended up making the trip up there, and you want anybody who's been there knows. To be honest with you, it's abuse. Your body's bruised,
it's
it's
a beautiful
sore,
thing.
and it's 7 days of just getting a butt whipping, and you really don't enjoy a Louisiana trip till you get home.
Yeah.
You got fresh fish, you're rested now, you're looking at pictures, you're thinking about it. So I always let other people go fish. Well, I told Mark, hey, these fish, you throw the bait up there, and you kind of walk to the back, and
Oh,
the
yeah, we
big
had it
ones
going good.
and we were all hammering them good. Well, Mark happened to get one or two on that were monsters.
Yeah.
And the last time he had it, it broke off.
Yeah.
So Mark instantly, what he'll do is he'll stand at his spot tying the hook so nobody can go back into that spot. Well, of course, he had to walk somewhere else. I grabbed a rod,
Mahoney was watching the whole thing.
put the bait on, threw it out
Way
there.
over to the side, yeah.
12-pound mango in the boat. I dropped the rod like a
Says
mic drop.
He goes, mic drop.
Threw my hat down and looked at all of them. That's how you catch him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. I got.
There were 2 or 3 of them hanging off that corner.
Oh yeah.
And they
man.
weren't in our little train we
No.
had going there. They were hanging off to the side, and I went over there and I pitched in, and that big one grabbed it. And I had the spool cupped, and I was running towards the back of the boat. He wasn't getting anything. It broke it, but
What was that? What did that one measure? 32 inches.
yeah, it was a
34
monster. It
inches,
was a
something like
monster.
that. They were up there.
yeah, he
We
was
had a great
pushing
time.
13 pounds.
But you know what I do is I kind of wait for a couple people to get broke off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they leave. The big ones are hitting. I walk over there, and I'll bet you, if you wait, and you've seen me do it a bunch, 9 out of 10 times, you let people get worked
Yeah,
and
yeah,
lose
let 'em
fish,
get their-
then you drop your line down, you'll get the biggest fish of the day. 9 out of 10 times,
Yeah.
it happens. I'm not saying all of them.
Sometimes it's that first bait out, but not with that situation there.
Yeah.
They're by far they get eaten. The small ones come up, start getting hammered first. There's 2 or 3 big ones that are gonna wait it out. They're gonna wait
Boom.
it out. Yeah. let
Game
'em-
time.
Then you got some elbow room when you hook that big fish.
Yeah. What's
Absolutely.
Tell me what your biggest grouper is, Mark.
My biggest grouper is right at 30 pounds.
Gag, right?
Gag, yep.
And that was when?
That was, gosh. Man, you know what? That was when we first started fishing together. Now, I've had bigger ones caught on my boat,
Yeah.
but I'm just talking about me personally. It was right at 30 pounds, and it was,
100-mile run up there in the middle
it was
grounds?
unbelievably shallow, yeah. It was actually one of the first pictures I brought a picture in. He was 40-something inches long.
Wow. That must have
And
been wintertime or fall, huh?
It was late. Yeah, it was late. It was fall. Yep.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I couldn't believe the fish was where he was at when I caught him. It was only like 110 feet of water, kind of to the north a little bit
Wow.
from
A
where I
wreck
typically
or
run
just
out of.
good bottom?
Mitigation site.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bunch of rocks.
Yep.
That's on the pipeline?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was-
10 foot.
Yep. It
And I'll
was,
tell you the biggest
I couldn't believe it. I was mango fishing.
And
Caught
caught
him.
him?
Yep, 30-pound braid and
On a
50-pound.
spinning rod?
No, a little. I believe it was my little 2-speed Daiwa, one of those little reels.
We were out there when we first started fishing the pipeline back when they first put it in, and we had gone to a mitigation site. I was with the Croftons, and Clay Crofton, Kevin's son, caught the biggest gag still to this day that I've ever seen caught. It was 50 pounds. And what had happened, it was a funny story. We took a jig, feathered jig, probably about 4 ounces, 5 ounces, and put a strip of belly meat on it from a bonita. And
Oh
we
yeah.
put it out
Great
back,
bait.
let it go all the way down, and we reeled it up 20 cranks in 120 foot of water.
So you were
it's a
halfway.
spinning reel.
Yeah,
So it
depending on what it was. Yeah.
sitting there. Well, the first one that went off, I go over and grab it. Boom, it's a shark, right? Big fun. Get to catch a shark when you're grouper fishing. So the next one, I baited it up, let the shark go, threw it back out there, did the same thing, set it in the rod holder. Probably within 5 minutes, the rod's bent double. Well, I kind of told Kevin's son, go over there and get it. Well, of course, I'm thinking
Another
shark.
Yeah.
I've never in my life seen a gag that big. When he came up, he kind of
Oh, yeah.
blew air out, and his gills were open
Those
right
big
at the
gags
surface.
are nothing else like them.
Huge. I think they got that mounted.
Do they?
And
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen, and that was a mitigation spot on the pipeline. And
I mean, that
120
area,
foot.
yeah, it gets beat up. These, every year it seems like there's more and more people out there and beating that stuff up, but there's still fish there.
Yeah, as soon as that snapper season opens, that's what's incredible. You see all those smaller boats. Your fishing that you do most of the time is what, more due west or to the south a
Man,
little bit?
it
or
depends on where the fish
where
are
they're
at.
moving at.
But for the big part of it depends on what kind of trip I'm running, whether it's an 8, 10, 12, 15 or whatever. I still like to run, except for the shark problem. If I can get up towards the grounds or inside the grounds somewhere out there to the northwest, I love fishing up that area. But typically most of my stuff is going to be, I run out of Pass-a-Grille, so I'm either due west of there or southwest of there. That's
deal.
typically
Yeah,
my
you just
stomp.
gotta
Because
kinda-
for years we were running out of Anna Maria with Dave Paul and
Yep.
and on the Contender, and we fished so much down there that
To
it
the
gave
south,
me
yeah.
And I had your old machine. You gave me a bunch of old numbers, and I just for the last 5 years have just mapped out that bottom down in there. I said, well, that was my starting point. So I've cut up the Gulf all the way from 120, 160 feet down there, and
Yeah.
been all over it.
And I've spent a lot of time with you. I
Yeah.
know we've caught some nice wahoo. And my suggestion to you, Mark runs a trip, like you said, 8, 10, and 12 hours, something like that. There's not that much of a difference in between on the pricing. I suggest, was it 6 people you can take?
Yeah, we could put 6 on.
Do those long trips. I think what we face now, and I think you'll agree with this, that we got a lot of boats that can run
Oh
that
yeah,
100-foot stuff.
yeah, oh yeah.
To be able to get out there, get deep, and catch fish, it means something. I mean, that's where less people are
It
going.
does, and even out there, you'd be surprised at the number of boats you'll see. And these days, they don't have any problem with someone that has a boat that can get out there that's new to it. No one has a problem pulling right up on you.
Right.
It's
And
just gotten to be that way. No one's apparently they haven't been taught.
what I
any better.
suggest to anybody, and people just don't care anymore, Mark, and it's not something that you can teach them when you're out there. So you've been with me. We don't very seldom even say something to somebody.
Right,
We
it's just
pull the hook
typical.
and leave.
Yeah.
We'll go to another spot 20 miles away and not worry about them. I've been sitting out there with Mark, and we've actually seen them turn and come straight to the boat,
Yep.
almost circle us, sitting, and it wasn't too long ago.
No.
Sitting
That was
right
last
there,
year.
and it's just like, hey, let's pull the anchor.
And the thing
run
about it
20
is, half
miles.
the guys like that, I'll be in an area or something, and I watch the boats pull up, and I watch them ride right over the next spot I was going to fish. It's a great hard bottom. They have no friggin' clue what they're doing.
The one time I
So-
remember, it was kind of comical. We were out there, and I don't know if you were on the boat or not, but we pulled up to a spot, and we noticed a boat a little bit away from us, but it wasn't really a big deal. And we anchored up. It was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 foot seas, and we were out there and just fishing away. Well, here comes this boat. The boat's coming towards us, and we're like, what's this boat doing? So we were all like on the gunnel, glaring at him like, you need to get away from us. And he kind of rode around for a minute and poked around, and I had a few big guys on the boat, and I don't think anybody really said anything. They might have been talking kind of loud,
Yeah.
but the guy kind of got the hint and said, well, we better leave here. I think we were out there in 200 foot of water. I mean, way out.
Yeah. There's
And
no reason for that.
No,
you
he
know?
took
There's
off.
A
That's
place
what we were
where you're
thinking.
Yeah.
We were all talking, how rude is this guy? Well, all of a sudden, we looked next to us, and his buoy, we're sitting on
Didn't even
top
know it
of
was
his
there.
buoy.
Yeah.
And it was
It
kind
had-
of rough that day. We had no idea.
It wasn't like right on it, but yeah.
It was close enough to go get it. I think I
Yeah.
grabbed it. And
I remember that.
after he disappeared, we figured out, we go, well, the guy must have lost his buoy, and he's over here looking for it.
Yeah.
And we're all
Drifted over on us. Yeah.
pulling shotguns out and setting them on the bow and on
No,
top,
man, there's
where
a-
you can shoot a couple flying fish, and all of a sudden people leave, and then
Yeah.
we got his buoy. It was
There's a
kinda-
time and a place. If people realize you can, certain times of the year, kingfish season, when weekends, you get all the guys zooming out there. I mean, and a lot of the public numbers and a lot of the well-known hard bottom areas, there's a lot of it out there. There's no real reason to pull right up on somebody.
I agree with
I
you
mean,
there for sure.
there's no reason to. If you're doing it, it's because you don't have a better place to fish. Now, if you're on a wreck or an artificial reef, those places get really jammed up. I think what you get, the problem is nobody knows the etiquette. The people don't have the experience to hang back off of that piece of structure, be it a reef, wreck, whatever it is, see what the other boats that are there are doing. See if they're anchored up. See if they're all drifting. Work your way in. No problem you can jam a lot of boats on a small piece if everyone is doing the right thing and knows what they're doing. Yeah. You get 3 or 4 captains, they can all work a 40-foot wreck repeatedly and catch their amberjack on it just by watching what the other guys are doing and kind of working in with the crowd. But so many people have no clue. They'll bust right in here and go, hey, it's a public number. They'll drop their anchor directly on top of the wreck, get hung, and screw up I'm not here to complain, but that's just people would get a little more educated offshore. It'd be nice, but unfortunately there's a lot of money out there and a lot of really fast, really good boats where people are hauling ass out there. I mean, I don't blame them, but just maybe learn a little something before you go.
I 100% agree with you. Coming up into the fall, which we're
I
getting
can't wait.
there right now, and lots of pelagics are showing up. It's a time to get out there.
It is,
and
man.
to get with you. You've done real well with
October's
Wahoo.
a good month. Yeah, it was 2 Octobers ago. We made a long run. We did really good on the Wahoo.
Yep.
Hook sailfish, dolphin. We've
One
done
of those
good,
trips
and
we
plus
had a
the
marlin
group.
come up.
Yep,
I think
we had a
marlin.
billfish back there. Yeah.
Yep.
Even September, I think. I'm just waiting for August
for
to be
sure.
over. It's so brutal out there right now.
Well, that
Grouper bites
one
slow.
year that we got the 2 nice wahoo when we ran out there to the south at about 400 feet.
Yep.
Was in October.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So we had a really short.
We got dolphin on that trip too.
Yep.
I think we had 5.
Yeah, nice ones.
Gaffers.
Gaffle,
Yeah.
over 10 pounds. I think
Which
base
on-
was probably 20,
Yeah.
close to it. There
I
were a bunch
consider
of
that
cows,
a banner
weren't there?
day for us running out there
Yeah.
when we do something
Had
like
a great
that.
time, and that's the time
Yeah.
of year right now. In the next few months coming up.
I know my next trip's down a lower unit, waiting for it to come in. The guys at Boat and Motor Superstore got me covered. They're it's under warranty. They're getting it back on. He said probably Thursday I'll have it.
Great.
So, but my next fun trip, I know I've got a couple of groups of customers I want to take. It's going to be out to that 450. It's
Well,
gonna
and
be
I'll
a-
tell you
it's
something.
going to be a
bottom
15-hour.
fishing or trolling?
Both.
Yeah. The trolling, I'll tell you, I've learned one thing. I know very little about it. And the reason why I like it so much is it's something new that we've all been kind of messing with
Well,
over
you
the last
bottom,
3 or 4.
you get out there and you grind on the bottom fishing thing year after year, day after day. It's nice to mix it up.
Well, and you get, what I like about it is you're running, 7 to 9 knots or miles an hour.
Cruising
and you
along,
got
radio going,
wind blowing.
shade. Yeah, this time of year, nothing beats it.
Yeah. for
I'd rather
sure.
bottom fish at night. Get a good snapper bite going.
Yeah.
Grouper bite's been slow. Either that or go troll.
I
Do
definitely
something
like
fun.
targeting, and every time we've done well out there in the deep trolling, it's been on the full moon. So there's something about that. Just a week or so ago when I went, it was full moon, and we had a decent day, and we were right on the full moon.
It's
so.
usually that 1 or 2 bites. You get that bite midday, or afternoon, and then another late. But we got bit 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, right on the money.
I mean, not a sign of life until then. Then bam, 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 bam. 3 dolphin, a nice tuna. Yeah.
Right off the bat, it was a great trip. Well, Mark, I appreciate you coming in and sharing some stories with me today.
Absolutely, buddy.
Let's hear the website again.
Yeah, the website's markandfish.com, guys. If you want to get in on a trip with me, look me up on Facebook. It's going to be the quickest way to do it. Mark and Fish on Facebook, Instagram. My number is 813-333-8257. Give me a call. I'll tell you what we're catching, shoot you straight, and let you know if you want to get out there right now or wait a little bit or whatever. But ask
Great
Mahoney,
time.
we're out there to catch fish, not to
That's
take you for a
right.
boat ride.
I had a great time with Mark catching fish over the years and hope to have many more. And
Yeah,
I
man.
appreciate you coming out, Mark.
You got it, buddy.
Talking with everybody.
Absolutely.
See y'all next time.